economy is fast transitioning into a technology-led, information-based economy, what a lot of us refer to as the digital economy, the economy of the future. That's why I'm delighted to have in the studio today Moses Ntirito, who is going to talk to us about information technology. He's also going to tell us where he's based and what got him into this field in the first place. Welcome, Moses.
Thank you very much, madam. My name is Moses Gitonga Ntirito. I'm an ICT entrepreneur and also an ICT consultant. What I do is I run two ICT outfits or companies. One is called Digital Oasis Limited and another one is called Blue Spline Studios Limited. Digital Oasis Limited, we do more of ICT content. We build content. So this means you could have, for example, a platform, but you want us to build content for you, or you don't even have the platform. So we build a platform and also help you build the content for it. And this cuts across from web-based content to mobile-based content. It's like platforms like websites or systems that are riding on a web URL. Let me call it like a web link. So you need to type a certain address for you to access it, and that's a cuts across many industries. Those who need just a basic website, they just need to have their content seen. They want their vision, they want their brand seen there. That's just a basic website. We build such stuff, but now it gets deeper. There are those who want now functionalities loaded on such platforms. Things now like ERPs and different other systems, and then mobile apps. Again, with the changing of the trends, like you've said, we are able to build or move those websites from the web-based platform to an app, so that now somebody can access the website through an app. And also, of course, now other mobile content like SMS and USSD. Now that is Digital Oasis Limited. But when you cross over, we have an animation company called Blue Spline Studios. Blue Spline Studios Limited specifically does content on graphical nature. This is now like animations. We actually build 3D animations. There's 3D and 2D animations, but we build 3D animation. 3D animation is where now you help people visualize somebody in 3 dimension, or visualize characters, or visualize background, nature in 3D dimension. So all that, and this is new technology, let me put it like that, because like animation is not very old, and also apps, they are not also old, they are just few years old. So that's where we are. We are now transiting. We are like, people have really catching up to transit into a digital era. Yes. Just like the way you explained it.
Yes, as you say, we finally find ourselves caught up in this new digital world. We always knew that we are headed, this is the future, digital is the future. But with the COVID-19 pandemic and the resultant lockdown, suddenly companies are finding themselves stuck because employees are working remotely, they don't have systems in place to manage this. So do you find a lot of requests now from companies to help them transition into the new world?
Thank you very much for that question. It's true, there's been an upsurge. To us, we are saying COVID, yeah, it's a challenge, but it was like a blessing in disguise to us, because now people have been forced to go there. It's like they've been forced to put on a mask to be safe. So people have had no choice. When, like, the government said many to work from home, unless you have to go to the office, people started thinking, now, what do you have to adopt so that we can work comfortably from home? And one of it was having web-based platforms, because if you had a platform that is only sitting in your office, then people cannot access it, they cannot reach it. It has to be moved to a web-based platform. So many people came calling, we need our website, we need to push our products. Initially our products were sitting in our hardwares, but now we used to take them to the shop. Now we not necessarily move to the shop. We want people to reach us directly, buy them directly. So we find ourselves building e-commerce platforms and such. Schools the same way. Students cannot now go physically to school until further notice. So the schools still want to teach, and they cannot teach through the university management software that are only sitting in the office to manage operations. They need a platform. So they come looking for us to build platforms like learning management solutions. So it cut across because COVID affected every person in every industry. So that surge came, and it's like they had no choice. They had to catch up. Otherwise, now they're going to be in business.
Yes, there's been a lot of fear or suspicion or lack of knowledge amongst many businesses. A lot of people thought that with IT you can use that to manage your HR resource or your sales or your accounting, but not to manage the entire business. And like you said to me earlier before we started this interview, ignorance is expensive. So are you saying all businesses can transition onto the web online platform?
Thank you for the question, Madam. Yes, there's no business that doesn't have the digital side of it.
Okay.
Only that they need to adjust their thinking to the digital side, adjust their for example, stock to the business side, transport to the business side. There's no business you can think about today. For example, simple question. Everyone who is in business is there to make some money.
Yeah.
That money needs some accounting software. So everybody needs to have, instead of having a physical book where you are doing your ledger, this is not the age. Already we are past the physical ledger or cash book. You can have it on soft. So anybody needs a solution.
Even if I'm selling, I've got a mitumba stall or a juakali stall or I'm selling vegetables, how does a business like that transition onto online platform?
Thank you for that question. First, especially this time of COVID, people may not necessarily come to your place to come and buy the grocery, but they need the grocery. Why can't you have a solution, load some photos somewhere where people can access your grocery and they order from their phone, and then you organize how this thing can reach them? Because they won't mind paying an extra 100 shillings or 200 for the item to be dropped because of the convenience. Because if I have to leave my house, I go to a supermarket, I buy grocery and bring back, I have in card fuel or, for example, fare. But if I can get it online, I just find some mangoes somewhere, place an order, you receive a confirmation that Moses needs some mangoes, and you send somebody to drop them. There's convenience, and it's actually cheaper. So anybody, it's only to think, like you said, ignorance is, they say if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. Ignorance is very expensive because somebody might have very good products, but these products are not reaching the end consumer fast, and it's because there's a gap there, a gap of technology. But if they only were able to push and possibly write even or push their products through an existing somebody's e-commerce platform, they don't even necessarily have to own an e-commerce. They only need to open an account and post their products there. And when these things are bought, the owner of the e-commerce makes money, and this guy makes money, and the consumer also is convenient, or they enjoy the products. So they are able to push their products faster. So no industry I've seen in this world, none, that cannot use digital knowledge or digital technology, that cannot adjust. All of them. You think of any industry, somebody has already thought of a solution somewhere, or it can be adopted to fit into the environment. Okay,
a lot of people think, or a lot of the older generation don't have enough knowledge about the digital platform, and this is usually the domain of the younger generation. They are on their phones a lot of the time. They are very comfortable ordering stuff online, visiting websites, going on the internet. They're very comfortable with that. But the older generation are a bit more suspicious. They think they are worried about security. They don't know what are the first steps. So if somebody has a duka, let's say a stall, or they are selling vegetables, or a mitumba, or whatever they're selling, what are the steps that they should take other than go to their son to ask them to get on the internet? What are the initial steps that you'd advise that you think they should take to transition onto the online platform?
Good question, madam. The first thing they need to do is first get knowledge. Know what technology can do for you, even before you choose which technology you want to adopt or on board. You need to know, okay, I have a shop, someone else has a hardware, someone else has a welding machine somewhere making business. What do I need? What can technology help me achieve? Who do I want to reach? You can even just begin there. Let me reach people. Let me just get on social media and shout and tell people, if you are inside town and you want welding, I'm here. Because a normal person, unless they go asking around who is somewhere doing welding, or maybe if the vehicle breaks down and you need some welding machine, you might need to ask around. But if somebody had shouted and you had gotten some contacts or some details on social media, that's a beginning point. They may not necessarily need an e-commerce, but this other one who has a shop might need an e-commerce platform. People like maybe medical, people are in the medical industry, they are dealing mostly on the body systems and all that, but they may not know until maybe they sit down. They can consult, they can get in touch with a consultant and ask, how can technology help me add value to either my business, to my patient, to my team, operation-wise, to help me make money. From that time, now the next phase now is, of course, now the adoption. The adoption phase is quite wide range. You can begin, because you know now I need 5 or 10 solutions for my system, which is a priority area. First, for example, I want to operationalize. I want to make my operations in my company run well. So you can choose an ERP. And the ERP doesn't have to be a whole 360 full 3 ERP.
Please explain what ERP
what is an ERP? Thank you. An ERP is usually, it's a software that helps run internal operations of a company. It's called Enterprise Resource Planning Software. So what they do is they bring different functionalities together, so that, for example, if I want to do customer relationship management, it has a function called CRM, which is customer relationship management. Still inside it, you want a function to manage your staff. So you get HRM, human resource management. Inside it, you need an accounting software to manage your functions. Inside it, you need now your specialized kind, for example, if you're manufacturing. So that is what is called ERP. But you find it's mostly internal to help you run your accounts, run your staff, run your operations, run your timing, or that staff can apply leave, they can do it. It helps because it cuts down on cost so much, but still it's not reaching people, it's not interacting with people. So after you cut down your cost internally, then now you can go an extra mile. You can now get an e-commerce platform. You can have a mobile app. You can go social media. You can go YouTube and shout around, do advertisement, all that. Yes.
So what you're describing, from what I see, is basically for medium-sized businesses or small businesses. What if it's I'm a one-man outfit, I'm running a duka or I'm running a stall? You've mentioned the social media platforms like Facebook or Twitter, maybe to advertise myself. What else can I do? What about setting up a website? What other avenues are there open for the small one-man, two-man business?
Good question, thank you. Even that one-man business wants first to make money. Number two, they are brand by themselves. Yes. So they want their brand to be known. Okay. They want people to see, for example, if they see you, they identify, they relate with a service. Let's assume even somebody who just plays a guitar somewhere to entertain people. He is a brand by himself, and his guitar is a brand. So they can have somebody who can get on board, take some photos, and have them shared in some WhatsApp group or something, and they give some contact number there. They can also do a banner, a small banner, a poster, an online poster, which again can be shared, still through technology, and they can generate money. When they start now growing and they get numbers, they bring a team. So this team again, each team is playing its role, and you might need his team again to ride on technology to be reached, because you know now I'm offering 2 services. Initially I was offering 1 service and I was myself alone, but now I have 2 people, each helping me supplement or build up to the business. So you still need technology to push this other person if you want this person to be the face, or if this person is sitting at the back, he needs to run the operations of the business. So again, he needs a software behind it.
Okay, you mentioned earlier also website. What is a website and how does it work and why is it necessary?
I'll put it in a very simple way. What is our website? Initially, like a book, the content that people used to build in a book and then go selling out there, it was a medium of sharing. It was printed papers, binded together, and then you go selling and you make money.
Like a brochure?
Yeah, like a brochure. Now, a brochure plays a part like it's shouting around to you. But our website can play a role of a brochure. It can play a role of operations. Same website. So it's a web platform. Yeah. It's some software that is being built and hosted somewhere. So people can interact with it. For example, now you want your business, you want people to register, to reach you. Initially, if you want to do that, either you send physical documents for people to fill like forms and send back, Now you don't necessarily need to do that. You need a place where people will enter their details, and by a click of a button, you've received the content.
Is it like a virtual platform, an office where people can come to learn about you, for you to tell people what you do, for people to get in touch with you, to interact with you? Can you do all that on our website?
You can. That is part of it now. It's like now on the aspect of day-to-day running of your office. But now you can extend the same website. You can extend it to do many other things. To keep now records, you see like an office, you add physical files. You don't necessarily need physical files. Now there's a platform you can keep all the HR files. Same website, but now an HR, when they come, an officer, when they get into the company, they get to the website, they check in. Instead of checking in through a physical
reception.
Reception, exactly. They check into the system, and the system keeps time. So it will record that Moses got in at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
And all the time during the time you're in the office, the system keeps time until it checks out. So it helps in getting on board. Even people, of course, that are coming, visitors, they can book appointments with the same system. They don't have to necessarily call. They can send a mail, and the system keeps a calendar that this person is supposed to meet Rose at this day. And then, of course, Rose can approve it in the system again. So this person gets a confirmation that actually my meeting has been booked. And even the content of the meeting is there, it's discussed there. So it's quite a whole.
So is a website something you'd recommend that all businesses or even individuals develop and maintain?
Yes. Anyone who wants to reach people, even though it's a church, even though as long as you want to reach people for the right cause, you need your online presence. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
You need our online presence. If you are not able to begin at a website level, you can go a Facebook page. You can go a Twitter account. At least people to reach you, to find you. But our website gives more authority, and it's able to do so much more. Because if you go Facebook, whatever, they have their own limitations, and they are not really you as such. You just have a section on it. Because if you go Facebook, whatever, they have their own limitations, and they are not really you as such. You just have a section on it. But now when you go your own website, you are able to brand it, you give it your colors, your look and feel, then you start interacting. You can keep, this is your own account. You need to think of it like your own house. You know a section. This section I keep this. This section I keep this. This is the reception. This is where people come and sit down. This is where they interact, personal meetings. So you are able to do all that in our platform.
Now, on all the other social media platforms, for somebody to open an account with Facebook, you just go type your name, get a password, and do that. Or Twitter or other platforms. There are so many social media platforms. But with a website, you can't do that yourself. So where does one go to get a website designed? Who are the people to contact? I know you do Digital Assets Limited, develop websites. Are they expensive? And how long does it take for a company to develop a website?
Thank you very much for the question. Where do you begin? Okay. It needs some little technical knowledge or technical know-how. So you can work with a techie. Somebody doesn't necessarily have to be a company. It can be an individual who understands a little about websites. You don't even necessarily need to have somebody who knows coding or programming, because there are systems that have been developed to support that, to easily build that. As Digital Assets, yes, we build different varied levels of websites. There are those basic websites where you just need my information known and what I do. Myself, products, contacts. So those are the lowest level, but there are those ones now who extend the services now. So the services can be interactive. You want to offer, for example, virtual services, you want to sell these people to download, all that you're able to build to the highest form level. And again, the cost you've asked, if they're expensive, it varies with the kind of the website. There are some that are quite low as 30,000. There are others that go up even to level 500,000. It depends with the functions that you are putting there, the solutions that you want to offer through that website. I can say the first thing that you need to have is the passion or the heart towards it. For you to, it's a little technical, let me put it that way, but if you have the heart, you are able to overcome. For example, myself, I've never trained in ICT. I've never got into an ICT class, but like you mentioned, I've won several awards, about 8 awards right now in the ICT industry. Sometimes even these awards, getting awards beating people who have masters in IT, for example, software development. And how this happened was, first I began with a lot of passion. I wanted to learn. I knew in my heart that my heart is there, so I went reading, checking online myself, going on the YouTube, opening websites that have to do with the kind of the work that I wanted to do. And that's how I started learning, and I built first my skill was web-based. I started building intranets, then I came to websites, then later I came to SMS, then later I came to animation, later I came to systems. So I'm able to do more than 40 or so solutions. This cutting across all the industry I've talked about, apart from animation. But it was first the heart that led me there, because with the heart you have persistence. You don't die out. The energy doesn't go out. So you continually research until you give a solution, because a client can come and tell you, I have a website, but my website is not sending me emails when somebody makes a request. So you have to go and read about it if you never knew how to do that, and you listen to what other people have done and you try and implement it. So anybody who wants to begin, they need to begin there. Then the next thing is now the skills or the languages. There are different languages that are needed in software development. You hear things like PHP, you hear things like Python language, you hear things like Ruby on Rails, you hear things like database, and again databases are different. You hear like MySQL. There are so many. So from the heart, you'll be driven to learn those softwares. Now these softwares, again, there are a lot of online tutorials. You don't again need to pay somebody unless you really want to go to school, but you can get online. They are free. Many of these people have put those tutorials there, so you only need to go step by step and do what they do. Then you test. The beauty is you just do and test it. If they tell you install files like this, then you go and test it, and you continually build yourself like that. And also there are mentors. So like Digital Essays, we mentor people, we get apprentices, we get people, young people who have just graduated, who know they have the skills, but they don't know how to conceptualize them. How, for example, somebody comes and they tell me, I need to be selling vehicles online. So where do you begin? Instead of going to reinvent the wheel, we are able to get even source codes of open source. Open source means softwares that you are able to manipulate. You can get them and manipulate. So we are able to mentor them until somebody comes out strongly and they go and run their own platform and they make money from it. So all that is there. There are local mentors, there are international mentors. Again, the beauty of this kind of work, mentors are across. You don't necessarily need to think about Kenya or Africa. Just go online, search somebody, a mentor in e-commerce, somebody who has built e-commerce platforms. So make a request. Then there are also things that we call communities or forums. These forums are open platforms where people who are getting to learn, they post things. They keep on posting, I've done this, how do I sort it out? I have this error, how is this error sorted out? And then somebody responds and tells you, this is where you go and this is what you do to sort out that error. There is always good and bad side of any human venture, apart maybe from God. A venture whom we know is always right. It is very true that in the country we have people who want to use the tool, because these are tools. They want to use them for the wrong reason. It's like when somebody gives you a knife, you can choose to cut some groceries with it, or you can choose to use it wrongly, maybe for thuggery and stuff. So when these people get this skill, and sometimes they don't have the culture, they have not been cultured the right way, they want to go the other side of it. And for example, let me use an example. If I know a bank is using this kind of software, and I'm an expert in that software, maybe I learned about that software somewhere else. If I don't have good morals or behaviors, I can go around that same software because I know how it operates. So that's how it works. Many people go online, they learn about hacking. Funny enough is there are people who are also teaching hacking online. So there's good hacking and bad hacking. So like Kenya here, I found universities that now teaching people good hacking. Because somebody hacked badly, you want to to like recover that. So you go and train people on how to manage the hacking. So these people go like the ones you have mentioned, especially young people in the universities. They want quick money, so they get online. They try to hack a system so that they can, for example, milk money from an institution, get rich quick, and that is dangerous. The advice that I can give anybody: don't try to get rich quick. Just think of noble ideas, because there are always needs. Everywhere you go, you find a need, and that need, there's a technology side of it. So why can't you come with a solution that can help this person settle that need? And this need could be national, it could be global. Somebody who thought like when Mark Zuckerberg thought of Facebooking, sharing, looking for colleague students, he thought of a solution, but now it is a global multi-billion industry. So it can just be an idea. It's how you use that to make that money. And in the country, it's a big problem, especially on the banking sector, and there's even the legal arm of it. The CID have a whole arm of investigating people who are trying to manage to hack. But again, also there's a good side of it. I mean, there is the good way of managing it. If you are ahead of these people, you are able to get them before they hit or before they attack your system. And now they attack, they build softwares. We call them bugs, okay, or we call them spywares or malwares or viruses. They throw them, they send them. So if they find like an open Wi-Fi, they're able to penetrate to people's machines, because that Wi-Fi does not need a password. So they penetrate there and they get your password or get other information. And when they get this information, they use that information now to log in. So you'll be surprised, madam, finding somebody has logged in from Malaysia, but that person it's reading your name, but you ask, how come the country is showing Malaysia? The IP address is showing Malaysia, but it's using my credentials. It's because somebody was able to get in through the browser and get your username and password, and that person is in Malaysia, so they can log in like you when they are in Malaysia. Thank you for the question. What advice can I give? This is to everybody. It's not just even the people that are not IT versed. Anyone who is running a business and you have a platform. It can be inbuilt, it can be in-house, it can be in a server sitting in your office, or it can be in cloud. It could be people accessing it through a browser or through an app. The advice I will give you first is invest. Invest in your ICT infrastructure. What do I mean by investing in your ICT infrastructure? The first thing you need to do, if you are thinking of browsers, your website, it's accessed through a browser. Your app, for example, will be accessed through a browser at one time or the other. What you need to do is, when you put security around it, when you put security around your browser, when you put security around your network, the one who is giving you an internet, can you, for example, come up with some firewalls? They are supposed, for example, somebody who supplies you with internet, they're supposed to give you like firewalls. Firewalls are like locks, or let me say padlocks, that will protect external penetration. So you need to invest in such things. Get antiviruses. Ensure your machine is up to date. For example, Windows, they keep on doing updates every time. Ensure your machine is up to date. Ensure your server is, it's updated, both hardware and software. Don't use an outdated things, because they look for vulnerability. I can use that term. How vulnerable is your browser? How vulnerable is your password system? How vulnerable is your hardware? How vulnerable is your networking? Once they go beyond that one, then they are able to access. So anybody should put some extra resources. Then also train your people. Train your IT people. Ensure at least you have one person who is supporting you. It may not necessarily be internal, working with you internally, but they are outside there, but they are able to monitor your systems from outside there. So you train them. You ensure they are up to date. And also as an ICT person, for example, if you are an IT person, sit there supporting a company, be ahead. Don't sit there and wait for the company to be hacked for you now to start asking, what can we do? Because it will come back on you. What had you done to foresee what was happening? So you need to go with the market trends. Go online and research. Look at people. For example, you are using a software. for example, called WordPress, to use that as an example, read the kind of hackings that have been happened on WordPress of late. What did WordPress themselves do? And what did other people do around WordPress? Read and be ahead, because it means if somebody has done it, someone else can go and replicate and try to do for the local environment. Finally, I can request also the government institutions or people around, especially the Ministry of ICT. It's good to invest in national security. There are countries that block completely some other countries from accessing their network. For example, you hear some softwares that have been blocked in a country because this software has been used wrongly. You find a software that has been used to hack banks, so the ministry makes a policy that anybody who is using this software, you are at risk. So they make pronouncement and also say there is no one who is allowed to install this kind of software in the country. So there are things that are at policy level, there are things that are on management level of the company, there are things that can be done on individual level, there are things that are also done as group level. I hear what is happening and I want to share with someone who is using a similar software in another company. I know they are using that software. If I've installed my software in Digital Oasis, I've installed a software in your company and I've installed on another company. So I see what has happened in this company. I need to let you, the other one, know that there is a risk. For example, when those people did send the ransomware software where they were trying to attack people so that they lock the website and you pay for it. You pay for it to be reactivated. If it was not news, so many people would have been hit because they wouldn't have known that there's such a software that is, or a worm that is running around to hack people's solutions. So it's good also to share. Make it public. If I'm attacked myself, let me shout around, let me say, I've been attacked. There was a time also at one time a certain country, all the country's websites, ministries, they were hacked because they had seen vulnerability in these ministries. So if you shout around, if you tell people around it that there's something that is coming, there's something new that is coming, news media or media houses like yours, they can shout around when such a thing comes about and inform people, because information is power. These terms like big data, terms like cloud computing, let me put it this way. Mostly, it's a different way of packaging software solutions. Data, initially we used to physically store data. Long time ago, we used to have physical files. Then it reached a point where we started storing them in films that were running. We went to diskettes, for those who remember diskettes. Then finally it went to a DVD-ROM. And finally it went to a mem card, a flash disk. Now it's a mem card. Now you don't even need a mem card. You need a cloud. You need just a physical place where you can access that data. So an institution, for example, a government, they may not necessarily need physical hard disks to store their data. They can put it on cloud. And then these companies that are storing the data, they actually even back it up for you. So that in case of one platform, you see, if you think of a flash disk crashing and you have not backed that data somewhere else, you have lost that data. If you think of a ROM, for example, a DVD-ROM, being destroyed or crashed by somebody, and you had not backed that data, you have lost that data. So the beauty with cloud is you get some space in the server somewhere. On cloud, it means a place that is not physical there. There's someone who is running some server somewhere, maybe in Amazon. Amazon is like one big player. So they get so many servers, they allocate a space for you. And they tell you this is a space where you're going to put this kind of data. This is where you place your website. This is where you place your film. This is where you place your account. So all that. So that data can be accessed. For example, if it's government data, like maybe eCitizen, is sitting in a central location. This central location, anybody is able to register wherever they are. Anybody is able to download services wherever they are. So all these ones is different ways of packaging and processing this information. When you hear cloud, it's not cloud. It's not the normal cloud that you see. It's some server sitting somewhere where you cannot physically reach them. But of course, you have some access through a link, through some address, through some username and password, but you're able to get all that. So you don't necessarily now need to think of anymore that do I have a hard disk in the office? because you can do 3 or 4 or 5 backups, and these servers are replicated. If the one that is in US fails, the one that is in UK peaks immediately. Not anybody who is hosting or who is running a cloud server, you are going to put your data there. Now the beauty is, there are countries that have government, it's an industry. Governments like US, they manage how you manage people's content. It's not like Kenya here, where somebody can buy a server and start selling for people without licensing and all that. So these people ensure even the content they sell you, in case it doesn't make sense, they have money refund policy. It's from the government level. So you find people, let's say like Amazon, they are licensed and they are monitored and they are regulated because they are managing not only their country's data, but even international countries' data. So you have asked about the risk of this data. Now, before you get, now that's why this is where you need some ICT knowledge. Before you get into hosting your content somewhere else, you need to know what are they giving you. It's not just space. Are they giving you some security? How many users are they giving you? Because maybe if it's only you and you are blocked, then it means no one else can access that data. But if they are giving you ability to have 3, 4, 5, 10, 100 users, 200 users, even though you are not able to access the data anytime, someone else can log in and still get your data. So it's a two-way side, but mostly it's controlled by the government. There are policies that are guiding these main countries who are doing the hosting. Kenya here, we have companies that are doing hosting, not in such a big scale, but also they fall under the policy of the Communication Authority. So you find the Communication Authority tries to manage. For example, let me give an example. A few months ago, the government passed, or the president signed a law of protecting people's data. For quite a while, people have been using other people's data. I get into a company, I sign my name at the gate with the security guy, and this security guy picks that number, or maybe somebody internally picks the data and starts sending me messages, unsolicited messages. Now the law protects people from such things. Before it was not there, but it was passed in this year 2020. So with policies, you are able to narrow down to the areas and then regulate, control them, so that if I get people's data, I know I'm not misusing or sharing this data. It's in my control, and it's a very sensitive area. It's in my control, but I am accountable for whatever happens about it. And of course, now the courts are able to handle the legal side of it. So what we do in our company, we have an apprentice program. An apprentice program, we get these young people who have different ideas, innovations, they have scripted it down, or they did it as a project before they graduated, and it was their last year project. So they come and ask, how can I take this to the next level? For example, there's someone who I remember who had done a sample library management solution. So he came with it and was asking me, okay, this is the file I was able to do. I was able to upload books and people are able to download books. And then I asked him, have you ever thought of people reading books while it's still in your platform? Instead of somebody downloading as a PDF and reading, why can't we have these books read right there? And it worked very well for him, and now he's by himself, he's running a solution. He already left our company, is able to sustain himself out there. And the same way, even on animation side, 3D animation side, we do the same. We find somebody who has passion, who has some basic skills, so we hold them, we hold their hand or work with them. And these people are able now, I know a few are doing some graphics out here, few are doing advertisements, graphics in 3D. People that we mentored, especially from 2008 to 2012 there, we held their hands, and there are even others who have gone out of the country because of the skill we give them. Somebody is trained on a different line, but they come to us, we hold their hand, we mentor them, they become good, they either get a better job out there or they become self-reliant by themselves. One time I received a request for somebody who is working in Malaysia, but because of cheap labor here, the person outsources. And when this request comes, I look at it and see, okay, this is somebody we held his hand one time, and now he's self-sustaining there. So he's at least doing good sending work back here instead of sending to another country. it's something that is happening globally, and the beauty with this kind of work, again, you don't even have to leave. You don't have to leave the country to get work that is outside there. You can go. There are some platforms that they post jobs. You know, like the Kenyan version of the Ajira platform by the government. They post jobs. They ask people, are you able to do character animation? Are you able to do lip sync? So they post it there. And if you bid and you win, you are paid, and you develop such things by yourself. So you can just be here, self-reliant. You're not even employed by somebody, but you're building content for people that are outside the country. So anybody who is interested in reaching to me or reaching to a company, you can go online. If you check mgitonga.com, that's my personal website, you see all the things that I've done, including those achievements and all that. And of course the contacts there. If you want to go to Digital Oasis, which is doing all these systems, CRPs, you can check digitaloasisltd.com, digitaloasisltd.com, and you shall find our details there. You shall find my details there for the company and also for my own company, my own self. For the animation also, if you go like Facebook and you search Blue Spline Studios, you are going to find us there. Anything to do with Blue Spline. Anything, YouTube, just type Blue Spline. You shall find our contacts there. Twitter, search Blue Spline. You shall find ourselves there. And it's Blue Spline of BLUE, that is color blue, then SPLYNE, Blue Spline, with a Y, not a I, Blue Spline Studios. Finally, for somebody who needs like a contact number, if you allow me, I'll give my number. It's 0717, that is 0717 87 65 36. 0717 87 65 36.
Well, thank you very much. It's been wonderful having this discussion with you. It's a fascinating field, and I'm sure we'll have you again. I hope you'll come back to the studio again, because digital is the future, and there's a lot more that we haven't covered today that we'd like to cover in the future. Thank you again for making the time to be with us.
Thank you so much too. I truly appreciate for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Bye-bye.